Okay, it's finally time here on the Penn State Blitz for picks and predictions. Penn State's a heavy dog. Will anyone side with the Lions? Welcome back to the Penn State Blitz podcast. I'm talking here with Greg Pickel, recruiting writer extraordinaire, better extraordinaire. He had a very nice, interesting story. Maybe he'll share it with you from Sunday. I don't know if he will. I'm fascinated by it. But Greg, I'm Bob Flounders, by the way. It's time to make our picks here for Penn State, Ohio State. As we talk about it, let's just say we're going to have Penn State as an 18-point underdog. It could fluctuate between now and Saturday. The total is right around 57, 57.5. Let's talk about your pick and maybe how you see the game playing out.
Yeah, so I tried to get to a point where I could make a long enough list of ways Penn State could win this game.
Pro con.
Yeah, and it just really struggled to get there. Between the secondary's recent play, the lack of an option outside of KJ Hamler and Pat Freiermuth on offense.
If Hamler plays.
Yeah, there's just too many pointing against the Lions this year. I know the easy response to that would be, well, you guys predicted a blowout the last 2 years and it was close. You picked them to lose in 2016 and they won. But this game, we talked about it a little bit earlier in both the video and the podcast, that the way the schedule set up this year kind of has zapped Penn State a little bit, while Ohio State has been cruising along. And I know you can look at it and say, well, they haven't been tested for 4 quarters, and if Penn State can put them in some adverse situations, we don't know how they're going to respond. That's fair. I just don't know if Penn State has the weapons this year to get it done. I have Ohio State 40, Penn State 24. I do see a cover in an Indy Lions future. I do think it might end up, when you watch it, it might look a little bit closer than 40 to 24, but if Indiana did what it did to Penn State's defense, what's Ohio State going to do? And the Lions just haven't shown enough, with that third receiver to think that they can go into a hostile environment and continue to put up points, especially if KJ Hamler and maybe Noah Cain aren't 100%.
Okay, for the sake of this, I'm going to assume that both Noah and KJ are cleared to play.
Okay.
And they are pretty close to 100%. Now, honestly, I'm just going to be honest. If for some reason KJ Hamler doesn't play, I mean, he had a big game against Ohio State last year with a 93-yard catch and run score. If he doesn't play, it's really, I think, fairly dire for Penn State. He's their top playmaker. He's a guy that even Ohio State's secondary, which is very good, could struggle to kind of cover. He's that talented of a player. Without him, I mean, you just kind of gang up on Freiermuth and you occasionally put an 8th guy in the box and take your best shot. So I'm going to assume they play. The fact that it's in Columbus, the one thing that Penn State does have in its favor is they have at least shown against some pretty good teams the ability to have a 4-minute offense, and that's something they didn't have the first couple of years with Franklin. And that's, if you do have a lead, you can protect it, you can milk the clock, you can get a first down or two. They did it against Iowa at Iowa. They did it against Michigan, and actually it was Hamler who got the first down. I think that's important. They went on a 9-minute drive to really seal the deal against Indiana as well. They're comfortable, I think, if they have to do that. Now, can they do it against the Ohio State defense is another story, and will they be in a position where they can kind of salt it away is also a story. I don't necessarily agree that the talent is even. What Ryan Day from Ohio State said, we kind of talked about it at the top of the Penn State Blitz. He thinks like it's an equal field. I think with Chase Young back, I don't necessarily agree with that. I think if Penn State fans are being honest, I think they're a little short on the talent side. You talked about the fact that a couple of players like Justin Shorter just have not developed this year. I see some tackling issues for Penn State in the secondary. The fact that the pass defense has not been good the last 2 weeks is a very troubling sign. I'm just wondering maybe if they're just struggling a little bit physically after kind of running the gauntlet. I mean, I give them a lot of credit for getting, Greg, to 9-1 with this schedule. I really do. Yeah, I do mean that. But they just don't look quite as quick to me, and I don't mean that. I just mean that I think it's only natural what they've went through physically. Yeah, that they might be lacking a little bit. I'm going to say 37-17 Ohio State. I do think that if this team would play 10 times, these two teams play 10 times on a neutral field, and all things are equal, I could make a case for maybe Penn State winning 1 or 2. I just can't see it at Ohio State. Ohio State took their best shot against a really good Ohio State team, a Penn State team 2 years ago, and Penn State couldn't hold a 15-point lead in the fourth quarter. I just think that this team, Ohio State team's pretty good. James Franklin referenced it. It might be the best Ohio State team talent-wise that he's seen.
Yep.
And the 2014 Ohio State team won it all. 37-17 for me, Ohio State. And you like it 40-24.
Bold predictions?
I don't know. This is a pretty long Penn State blitz. I don't know that I have a bold prediction for this game. I just think that I think the matchups are what they are, and I just think Penn State's a little short.
Will Levis comes in for the Wildcat.
Yes.
Throws it backwards to Sean Clifford, who launches it downfield. There you go. Let's see if we see that.
How long did you spend on that bold prediction?
Oh, I just thought of it while you were talking.
No.
They had to set it up for something. Let's get out of here.
I'll tell you what.
Yeah.
If you nail this one, you're king of the world.
We'll see about that. That's it for this week.